Welcome to RWBY Arrowfell, where WayForward Games looked at how flat the main show's writing has become and said, hold my 2D beer. You know, this game has fully animated cutscenes, but sure, open the game with a black screen with text popping in instead of an actually exciting opening. Ruby, girl, for the sake of your health, please loosen up that corset. Having a waste that thing cannot be good for you. Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. If we were ripping off the cinemasins format instead of ripping off the Josh Busker format, I'd add a point for every time Team RWBY brings up the fact that they have Huntress licenses now. We are literally 2 minutes into gameplay and the game is already giving me skill points to improve the stats of my characters. If that isn't a warning sign that you made a poor decision in your use of $30, I don't know what is. By the way, I'm willing to bet WayForward felt so clever hiding this other skill point behind the first one, when it kind of just proves my last point even more. Shout out to this game for making me quit to main menu so I can change my controller preferences. WayForward saw that RWBY characters are protected by a barrier with a measurable amount of energy and thought, what if we made the gun use the same energy? The only character that would make sense with is Weiss, because contrary to what RWBY would want to convince you of, Martin Astor is not also a gun. I really appreciate the game freezing all gameplay in order to show me that I did in fact take damage. Also, I died. Fuck. Gee, Yang, could it be the only named engineer character in the franchise that you guys are affiliated with? I don't know, Dave. Remember the last time you tinkered with a strange device your friends gave you? Sorry, my ADHD kicked in here. Huh. Recovery items? I doubt I'll need those. Are you always such a bitch, Yang? Thank you, game devs, for putting these platforms here for the sole purpose of having an excuse to put these annoying Batgrim closer to me. Seriously though, if I had a nickel for every time one of these pieces of shit bonked me on the head, I'd be able to pay off the egregious full price of this game. Wow, can't remember the last time I've seen a girl care so much about a book that wasn't smut. I seriously wonder what use this woman thought that people armed with weapons like these would have for a pickaxe. This game was released in 2022 and these grown-ass adults are here making butt jokes in the same franchise that involves a 17-year-old girl being disintegrated, our main character maiming a guy, and a millennia-year-old witch torturing a teenage boy. You know, the game's trying to make this guy look like an incompetent huntsman for not wanting to take on the Goliath alone, but that only makes sense if RWBY wasn't the whole last team and Russet wasn't just one guy. A Goliath! Out of nowhere! Weiss has the same understanding of adaptation as people who make immortal snail jokes do. Way to go with beating the fondest stereotypes, Blake. According to Death Battle chain scaling, that Goliath must be moving faster than 42% the speed of light. Apologies for having lingering eyes, but Roan's and Ivy's boob lines keep bothering me. Brown gets on Briar's ass for working for money, but how the hell would you feel if people constantly asked you for help with no compensation? I already get approached by bums in parking lots enough as it is. I don't need people to ask me to do my job for free. Though considering the current job market right now, that's an unfortunately way too common occurrence. This game has a subtlety of the US's current administration. Again, subtle. Do number 28 in editing. Elm's model doesn't match her character portrait here, and to think I almost didn't notice because of how big and round her earring is. Oh wow, the canine fondness is the one to bring up me unprompted. At this point, I should just clip a collar around your neck, force you onto your hands and knees, and ask who's a good boy! I seriously gotta wonder what these enemies have gone through to end up with a rock excavating club for an arm. Sorry, I just wanted to show you these cute idle animations real quick. Finally, I'm given an objective that doesn't just feel like me doing meandering chores. And now I have to find 3 random rocks. Great. If you're gonna have areas that I can't explore yet until I unlock an ability later, make it really obvious I can't explore that place until I get an ability later. Alright viewer, let's get you involved a little bit. If I didn't have to give it to Elm, who do you think would have drank the grape soda? Did you know? The best part about living in the frozen tundra is that your drinks are always at the perfect drinking temperature. With that being said, how fucking cold do you like your drinks, Elm? Would you guys mind waiting as I grind for Leanne? You might call maxing my wallet cheap. I call it getting ahead of the curb. I'm an hour and a half into this game and I'm already completely fed up with this music that plays during every single ambush attack. Are the Bibles just unable to go down ramps or something? I thought slopes were meant to help the disabled. Thanks, game, really. It's really nice that I can get hit by projectiles that fire off screen and can go through walls. Real fun design choice there, guys. Shout out to this enemy for flying off screen so I can't see when he does his dive attack. You're smarter than I pinned you for, Razorwing. Now please die. Ah yes, the semblance that ignores Ruby's mass in order to let her move faster is affected by the aerodynamics of the pose she makes. How logical! Okay, I know I've been facetious, but this time I'm actually grateful for the game telling me exactly which level the next objective is, instead of making me remember exactly which places I have to go to. That being said, I have fun going through these boring and unintuitive level designs without a map to reference. I am so glad I don't have to actually backtrack to get out of this place and can just leave through the menu. It's weird, but it also doesn't surprise me that Team RWBY are the kind of people that put others down for wanting to look deeper into and see details that they themselves don't see. Wait. You're just gonna introduce the reason the human enemies I've been fighting so far exist, but then immediately after have me fight him with zero buildup? That's almost as bad as building up a guy for the majority of your arc as being this super strong and scary monster, only for one of our main characters to have little to zero trouble completely clocking him. Man, wouldn't that suck to see? No, RWBY, because that would actually make this game's story interesting. Plus, they already used that plot point in the actual show. Saying you won't do something but then proceeding to do it anyway is more overused than insert currently spammed word on TikTok. Listen, guys, if you're gonna rip off the penguin, I hope you'll at least give him a funny voice. Nope. Not funny. Not funny at all. Oh, this is where that stupid gif comes from. You know, I'm all for making jokes at the minor expense of logic, but if you're gonna do that, at least make sure the joke you're telling is funny. Hey, Glass, I don't think insurance covers property damage that you caused. You know, there comes a point in every man's life where you just turn your brain off and flail your arms wildly and just accept whatever comes in that. Oh, look, I won. See, if I were a brain-rotted internet bot who didn't know what the words he uses actually meant, I'd say that's ironic. I feel like I'm reading some kid's fanfic right now. Well, RWBY, every time I hear you talk, you don't see me. Actually, that's a fucking lie. I hate listening to RWBY's voice. Imagine being James Ironwood and turning away from the people you're talking to just so you can have a dramatic ass turnaround to reveal who the next bad guy we need to find is. Now I want you to also imagine yourself as Krubby and unironically making one of this game's antagonists a union leader. Well, might as well change all your last names to France, Team RWBY, because we're about to go participate in some union busting. Well, I suppose that does it for this part of this adventure. I wonder what new and exciting levels and mechanics we'll explore next time. What new enemies we'll face. I'm sure we'll have plenty of new content to explore and... Wait, what do you mean I only have 3 hours of gameplay to go through? What do you mean I was struggling to come up with material for the first 2.5 hours of this footage? Are you really telling me that the series infamous for its misuse of its already short runtime has this game misused its short runtime? Well, at least this franchise stays consistent.